Be me Abigail, 42, single mother raising my son Terry the right way. Terry just turned 18 last month, and I've been so proud of the young man I've shaped him into. Unlike other mothers who let their sons become part of the problem, I've made sure Terry understands how the world really works. Been taking him to therapy since he was 14, because I know how toxic masculinity can poison young minds. Dr. Sarah is amazing, really gets how society conditions boys to suppress their emotions and become oppressors. Terry's appointment is today at 3 p.m, like every Wednesday for the past 4 years. I'm in the kitchen making him a quinoa bowl because I refuse to let processed capitalist food poison his body. Hear his footsteps coming down the stairs, probably getting ready to leave soon. He walks into the kitchen looking tense, which immediately concerns me. The patriarchal structures in his school have probably been weighing on him again. Terry, sweetie, your appointment is in an hour. Did you want to talk about anything beforehand? He stops and just stares at me for a moment. There's something different in his expression today. Almost angry. Actually, Mom, I'm not going to therapy anymore. I nearly dropped the quinoa bowl. What did he just say? What do you mean you're not going? Terry, we've discussed this. Mental health is crucial, especially for young men who... I'm 18 now. I can make my own decisions about this stuff. His voice has this edge to it that I've never heard before. Clearly something has happened at school or with his friend group. Those toxic male influences are finally starting to show. Honey, I understand you feel grown up now, but therapy isn't something you just stop because you feel like it. Dr. Sarah has been helping you process. Process what exactly? Process how everything wrong in my life is because of some invisible system? He's raising his voice now, and I can see the anger building. This is exactly what Dr. Sarah and I have been trying to prevent. The masculine rage that society teaches boys is acceptable. Terry, please lower your voice. Let's sit down and talk about this rationally. No, I'm done talking rationally about irrational things. My heart is starting to race because I can see he's been influenced by something. Probably those online spaces where young men get radicalized. What's brought this on? Has someone been telling you that therapy is weak? Because that's exactly the kind of toxic messaging. Everything is toxic messaging to you. Everything is the patriarchy or society or some system designed to oppress people. He's actually yelling now, and I've never seen him like this. Something is seriously wrong, and I need to get him back to Dr. Sarah immediately. Terry, you're clearly upset about something deeper here. This kind of sudden rebellion against help is actually a symptom of what? Of me finally realizing that you've been the problem this whole time? The words hit me like a physical blow. Did my own son just say I was the problem? After everything I've sacrificed to raise him with consciousness and awareness. Excuse me? After everything I've done to protect you from becoming another toxic male? Protect me? You've been suffocating me. Every problem I've ever had, you blame on society, instead of actually helping me deal with it. I can feel my own anger rising now because this is so unfair. I've dedicated my entire life to making sure he doesn't become part of the oppression machine. I have helped you deal with it. I've given you every tool to understand how these systems work. What systems, Mum? The system where I can't make friends because you've convinced me that every social interaction is about power dynamics? He's pacing now, and his face is red with anger. The system where I can't date anyone because you've taught me that attraction is just internalized misogyny? This is getting out of hand, and I need to regain control of this conversation. Terry, you're obviously going through something right now, and lashing out at the person who's tried to educate you is exactly how patriarchal conditioning works. There it is again. It's never just me having feelings or opinions. It's always patriarchal conditioning. He slams his hand on the counter and I actually jump. I've never seen him this aggressive, and it's honestly frightening. You want to know what my biggest problem is? It's not society. It's not the patriarchy. It's not toxic masculinity. He's looking directly at me now, with pure fury in his eyes. My biggest problem is that my mother has spent my entire life convincing me that I'm either a victim or a potential oppressor, and never just a person. I can feel tears starting to form because this is so painful to hear. After all the sacrifice, all the consciousness raising, all the protection I've provided. Terry, you don't understand what I've saved you from. The world is full of systems designed to turn young men into what? Into people who can function normally? Into people who don't analyze every human interaction through the lens of oppression? This is spiraling completely out of control. I need to call Dr. Sarah immediately because this is obviously a breakdown. You clearly need professional help right now. I'm calling Dr. Sarah. Don't you dare call her. I'm done with therapy. I'm done with your constant analysis of everything, and I'm done pretending that your worldview makes any sense. He's moving toward the door now, and I'm starting to panic. Terry, please don't leave while you're this upset. We can work through this. Work through this? Like we've worked through everything else by blaming it on society? I'm following him to the front door because I can't let him leave like this. When you couldn't make the basketball team, you told me it was because coaches favor traditionally masculine players instead of helping me get better. He's putting on his jacket while he's talking, and I'm getting more desperate. When Sarah Martinez wouldn't date me, you said it was because she'd been conditioned to prefer toxic masculinity instead of acknowledging that maybe she just wasn't interested. These examples are completely missing the point and show how much deprogramming he needs. Terry, those are real systemic issues that affect young men. I was trying to help you see the bigger picture. The bigger picture? The bigger picture is that I'm 18 years old and I can't handle basic life challenges because you've taught me that everything is someone else's fault. He opens the front door and I'm starting to lose it completely. This cannot be happening after everything I've invested in raising him correctly. Where are you going? You can't just run away from difficult conversations. I'm going to Dad's house. My ex-husband Gerald, who has been completely useless in Terry's development. Gerald, who represents everything wrong with traditional masculinity. Your father doesn't understand these issues the way I do. He'll just reinforce all the harmful patterns. Maybe harmful patterns are better than no patterns at all. Terry turns around, and his face is full of pain and anger. At least Dad lets me fail without explaining how my failure is society's fault. I can feel my chest getting tight, and my breathing becoming shallow. This is exactly the kind of moment Dr. Sarah warned me about, when the patriarchal programming tries to reassert itself. Terry, please come back inside. You're hurting right now, and making decisions based on pain. I'm making decisions based on finally understanding that you've been the source of my pain. He takes a step back toward me, and I think maybe he's reconsidering, but his expression just gets angrier. You want to know what I figured out? You don't actually care about helping me. You care about being right about your theories. That accusation is so unfair I can barely process it. Everything I've done has been about helping him navigate a difficult world. That's not true. Every choice I've made has been about protecting you and educating you. Protecting me from what? From learning how to solve my own problems? From taking responsibility for my own life? I can feel my voice getting higher as the stress builds. From becoming another man who contributes to the oppression of others. There it is. You'd rather have a son who can't function than a son who might not share your exact worldview. This conversation has become completely irrational. He's clearly been influenced by something or someone. Who have you been talking to? Because this sudden change doesn't happen in a vacuum. I've been talking to reality, Mom. I've been talking to the part of my brain that you've been trying to suppress for 4 years. He starts walking down the driveway, and I'm following him. Terry, please don't do this. Don't throw away all the progress we've made. What progress? Progress toward what? He stops and turns around one more time. Being unable to talk to girls without wondering if I'm perpetuating harm? Being afraid to compete at anything because competition is supposedly toxic? Being paralyzed by the thought that every emotion I have is either patriarchal conditioning or internalized oppression? These are the exact conversations we need to be having in therapy. This is why stopping now is so dangerous. These are complex issues that require professional guidance to work through properly. No, they're simple issues that you've made complex by filtering everything through your ideology. I can feel my control of this situation slipping away completely. My heart is racing, and I'm starting to feel dizzy. Terry, you're my son, and I love you, which is why I can't let you make this mistake. The mistake isn't stopping therapy. The mistake was starting it in the first place. He gets to his car, and I realize I might actually lose him if I don't fix this right now. You can't just leave. We need to process this properly. There's that word again. Process. Everything has to be processed instead of just lived. He opens his car door, and I'm starting to feel genuine panic. This is my worst nightmare coming true. Terry, if you leave now, you're proving that you can't handle difficult emotions without running away. And if I stay, I'm proving that I can't make decisions without your approval. The panic is turning into something bigger now. I can feel my chest getting tight and my vision starting to blur. You don't understand what you're doing. You don't understand how the world really works. I understand exactly what I'm doing. I'm choosing to live my life instead of analyzing it to death. He gets in the car and starts the engine. I'm standing in my driveway watching my son drive away. All the work, all the sacrifice, all the consciousness raising, destroyed by whatever toxic influence has gotten to him. I stumble back into the house and my legs feel weak. My hands are shaking as I reach for my phone to call Dr. Sarah. This is an emergency and she needs to know what's happened. The phone rings twice before she picks up. Dr. Sarah? It's Abigail. We have a serious problem. What's going on, Abigail? Terry just had a complete breakdown. He says he's quitting therapy and he's blaming me for everything. I can hear my voice getting higher and more frantic. He's been completely turned against everything we've worked for. Someone has gotten to him. Slow down, Abigail. Tell me exactly what happened. He said I'm the problem, not society. He said I've been suffocating him, he said. I can't even repeat some of the things he said. They were so hurtful and showed how completely he's been manipulated. He said he'd rather fail on his own than succeed with my help. I see. And how are you feeling right now? How am I feeling? I'm devastated. 4 years of work just destroyed by whatever toxic messaging he's been exposed to. I'm pacing around my living room now, and I can feel my heart pounding. Dr. Sarah, you have to help me fix this. You have to call him. Abigail, Terry is 18 now. I can't call him without his consent. This answer is completely unacceptable. She doesn't understand the urgency of this situation. But this is exactly the kind of crisis we've been trying to prevent. This is the patriarchal backlash we talked about. I understand you're upset, but we need to respect Terry's autonomy here. His autonomy? His autonomy is being compromised by toxic influences. I can feel my breathing getting faster and my voice getting louder. Dr. Sarah, you don't understand. He's going to his father's house. Gerald will undo everything we've accomplished. Abigail, I think we should schedule a session for just you to process these feelings. I don't need to process anything. I need Terry back in therapy before it's too late. The frustration is overwhelming now. Nobody seems to understand how serious this is. This isn't about my feelings. This is about saving my son from becoming another toxic male. I hear that you're very concerned, but right now, Terry has made a decision about his own mental health care. I hang up the phone because this conversation isn't going anywhere productive. Dr. Sarah is clearly not grasping the severity of the situation. I need to think about this strategically. Terry is angry right now, but anger is just pain underneath. He's been hurt by something, or someone, and he's taking that pain out on the person who's tried to protect him his whole life. I call Gerald, even though talking to him always makes me feel worse. He answers on the third ring, with that annoyingly calm voice. Hey Abigail, what's up? Terry is on his way to your house, and he's having some kind of breakdown. What kind of breakdown? I can tell Gerald is going to minimize this like he always does. He quit therapy, and he's blaming me for all of his problems instead of understanding how systemic oppression works. Okay, slow down. What actually happened? What actually happened is that 18 years of conscious parenting are being destroyed because he can't handle the complexity of real social justice work. There's a pause on the other end. Abigail. Maybe Terry just wants to make his own choices about therapy. His choices are being influenced by toxic messaging. This isn't a real choice. It's a reaction to patriarchal conditioning. Or maybe he's just 18 and wants some independence. Gerald's inability to see the deeper issues is exactly why Terry needed therapy in the first place. Independence? Independence to become another unconscious male who contributes to oppression? Jesus, Abigail. Do you hear yourself right now? I can feel my anger building because Gerald has never understood what's at stake. Do I hear myself advocating for my son's consciousness and well-being? Yes, I hear myself perfectly. You hear yourself turning everything into a political battle instead of just being a mom. That accusation hits me like a slap. After everything I've sacrificed to be the right kind of mother, I am being a mom. I'm being the kind of mom who doesn't just let her son drift into toxic patterns. Terry isn't drifting into toxic patterns. He's trying to become his own person. I can feel tears starting again because nobody understands. His own person? His personhood is being shaped by systems he doesn't even recognize. Abigail, I think you need to step back and let Terry figure some things out for himself. Step back? While he's being influenced by harmful messaging? My voice is getting louder again, and I know I sound frantic. But this is my son's future we're talking about. I'm not stepping back while everything I've worked for gets destroyed. Everything you've worked for? What about what Terry wants? Terry doesn't know what he wants. He's 18, and he's been compromised by toxic influences. Gerald sighs, and I can tell he's about to say something condescending. Abigail, maybe the toxic influence Terry is trying to get away from is you. The words hit me so hard, I actually gasp. My own ex-husband just echoed the same hurtful thing, Terry said. How dare you say that to me? After everything I've sacrificed. You've sacrificed Terry's ability to just be a normal kid. I hang up on him because I can't listen to this anymore. Both Terry and Gerald are completely missing the point. They don't understand that normal isn't good enough. Normal means unconscious, and unconscious means perpetuating harm. I'm sitting on my couch now, and I can feel my chest getting tight again. My hands are shaking, and I'm having trouble catching my breath. This is all happening too fast. 18 years of careful, conscious parenting. 18 years of protecting Terry from toxic influences. 18 years of sacrifice and education and awareness building, destroyed in one afternoon. I need to think about what could have caused this sudden change. Terry was fine last week at therapy. Dr. Sarah said he was making progress on understanding internalized masculine norms. Something specific must have happened. Maybe something at school. Or maybe he's been secretly consuming toxic content online. Those spaces are specifically designed to turn young men against feminist consciousness. They use emotional manipulation to make boys feel like victims. That would explain the sudden anger and the rejection of help. I need to call Dr. Sarah back and explain this theory. She needs to understand that this isn't just teenage rebellion. This is deliberate programming designed to create backlash. I dial her number again, but it goes to voicemail, probably dealing with other patients who don't understand the urgency of patriarchal influence. Dr. Sarah, it's Abigail again. I think Terry has been exposed to anti-feminist content online. The sudden nature of this change suggests deliberate influence. Please call me back as soon as possible. I hang up and try to think of other resources. Maybe I can reach out to some of the other conscious mothers in my community. Women who understand what it's like to raise sons in a toxic culture. I text Rebecca, who has 2 boys and has been dealing with similar challenges. Emergency situation with Terry. He's rejecting therapy and blaming me instead of recognizing systemic issues. Any advice? She responds within minutes. Oh honey, I'm so sorry. How old is Terry now? Just turned 18. I think he's been influenced by toxic online spaces. That's such a difficult age. They think they know everything. At least Rebecca understands the situation. Unlike Gerald, who thinks this is just normal teenage behavior, I'm terrified he's going to become another unconscious male who perpetuates harm. You've done everything you could, Abigail. Sometimes they have to learn the hard way. But learning the hard way means causing harm to others. It means becoming part of the problem instead of part of the solution. I can't just let him drift into toxicity without fighting for his consciousness. I know, but he's 18 now. Legally, you can't force therapy. The legal reality doesn't change the moral reality. I have a responsibility to protect not just my son, but everyone he might harm. Rebecca, what if your son was about to join a hate group? Would you just step back because he was 18? That's different, Abigail. Is it? Unconscious masculinity causes just as much harm as conscious hatred. There's a long pause before she responds. Maybe you should talk to someone yourself about dealing with this transition. Everyone keeps suggesting that I need help instead of recognizing that Terry needs intervention. I don't need help processing. I need help saving my son from toxic influences. Rebecca doesn't respond right away. Probably because she doesn't understand the urgency either. I'm alone in this fight for Terry's consciousness. I decide to drive to Gerald's house. I need to see Terry face to face and remind him of everything we've worked for. Maybe away from whatever online influences have gotten to him, he'll be able to think clearly. I grab my keys and head out to the car. My hands are still shaking, but I need to act. Sitting at home isn't going to save Terry from becoming another toxic male. The drive to Gerald's house gives me time to think about what to say. I need to approach this strategically. Terry is clearly in pain, and he's projecting that pain onto me. If I can help him identify the real source of his pain, maybe he'll understand. The real source is a society that tells young men they have to suppress their emotions. The real source is a culture that makes boys feel like sensitivity is weakness. The real source is systems designed to turn empathetic boys into oppressive men. I pull into Gerald's driveway and I can see Terry's car. At least he made it here safely. I walk up to the front door and ring the doorbell. Gerald answers with a concerned expression. Abigail, I don't think this is a good idea right now. I need to talk to Terry. This can't wait. He asked me not to let you in if you showed up. My own son is refusing to see me, after everything I've done to protect and educate him. Gerald, this is an emergency. Terry is having a breakdown, and he needs help. Terry is having a breakthrough, not a breakdown. I can feel my anger rising again at Gerald's complete lack of understanding. A breakthrough into unconscious toxicity, yes. Abigail, listen to yourself. You're talking about our son like he's joining a cult. Unconscious masculinity is a cult. It's just so normalized that people don't recognize it. I can hear Terry's voice from inside the house. Is that Mom? Yes, Gerald calls back. Tell her I'm not ready to talk yet. Not ready to talk yet. As if this is something we can just postpone while toxic influences solidify. Terry, I just want to understand what happened. I want to help. There's silence from inside the house. Then I hear footsteps, and Terry appears behind Gerald. His face is still angry, but there's something else there too. Maybe sadness or disappointment. Mom, I told you I need space right now. Space to what? Space to unlearn everything positive we've accomplished? Space to figure out who I am without your constant analysis. I can feel my chest getting tight again. This is exactly what I was afraid of. Terry, you don't understand what you're throwing away. You don't understand how hard it is to maintain consciousness in a toxic culture. Maybe I don't want to maintain consciousness. Maybe I just want to live. The words hit me like a physical blow. My own son is choosing unconsciousness over the gift of awareness I've given him. You can't just choose to be unconscious. That's not how responsibility works. Whose responsibility? Mine or yours? I can feel my breathing getting faster. This conversation is spiraling just like the one at home. Your responsibility to yourself and to everyone your choices affect. What if my choice is to affect people positively by being authentic instead of ideologically correct? This is exactly the kind of false choice that toxic influences promote. Authenticity without consciousness is just selfishness, and consciousness without authenticity is just performance. Terry steps forward and I can see how angry he still is. Mum, do you want to know what my authentic feeling is right now? I nod because I need to understand what's really happening in his mind. My authentic feeling is that you've spent my entire life making me afraid to be myself. The accusation is so unfair I can barely process it. Afraid to be yourself? I've encouraged you to be your full authentic self. No, you've encouraged me to be your version of my authentic self. He's looking directly at me now. There's a difference between being authentic and being ideologically pure. I can feel tears starting again because this is so painful. Terry, ideology isn't separate from authenticity. Your beliefs shape who you are, but you chose my beliefs for me. You never let me figure out what I actually think about anything. This is completely backwards. I gave him the tools to think critically about everything. I gave you critical thinking skills. I gave you awareness. You gave me your conclusions and told me they were my thoughts. Gerald is standing there watching this conversation, probably feeling vindicated in his unconscious approach to parenting. That's not true, Terry. We've had countless conversations about these issues. No, you've had countless monologues about these issues while I nodded along. I can feel my control of this situation slipping away completely. Everything I'm saying is being twisted and misunderstood. Terry, I'm trying to save you from becoming someone who causes harm. What if trying to save me is what's causing the harm? The question hangs in the air. And I realize that everyone is against me right now. Terry, Gerald, even Dr. Sarah, who won't help intervene. So this is what you want? To just abandon everything we've worked for? I want to work for my own things instead of yours. My chest is getting tighter, and I'm starting to feel lightheaded. Your own things like what? Like becoming another unconscious male? Like becoming whatever kind of person I actually am, instead of the person you think I should be? I can feel my voice getting higher and more desperate. But what if the person you actually are causes harm? What if your unconscious choices hurt people? Then I'll learn from that and try to do better. Learning from harm means harm has already been caused. Prevention is better than reaction. Terry looks at Gerald and then back at me. Mom, do you hear what you're saying? You're so afraid of me potentially causing harm that you'd rather control every aspect of my personality. I'm not controlling, I'm guiding. You're micromanaging my consciousness. The phrase hits me wrong, and I can feel my anger building. Micromanaging consciousness? I'm trying to develop your consciousness by making every thought I have subject to ideological approval. I can feel myself starting to lose it completely. My hands are shaking, and my voice is getting louder. Ideological approval? These aren't ideologies. These are facts about how oppression works. According to who? According to you, and Dr. Sarah, and your books, and your theories. According to reality. According to the lived experiences of marginalized people. What about my lived experience? What about my reality? His reality is limited by his privilege. He doesn't have the perspective to understand systemic issues. Your reality is shaped by privilege that you don't even recognize. And your reality is shaped by theories that might be wrong. The suggestion that my understanding might be wrong is completely unacceptable. I've spent years educating myself and building consciousness. These aren't theories, Terry. This is how the world actually works. For you. This is how the world works for you. I can feel my breathing getting shallow and my vision starting to blur. For everyone, whether they recognize it or not. What if some people are happier not recognizing it? Happiness built on unconsciousness is fake happiness. And consciousness built on fear is fake consciousness. I can feel everything starting to fall apart. My son is choosing ignorance over awareness. Choosing comfort over truth. Choosing selfishness over responsibility. Terry, please don't do this. Please don't throw away everything we've built. We didn't build anything, Mom. You built something and tried to make me live in it. I can feel my chest getting really tight now. My heart is racing and I'm having trouble standing. I built it for you. To protect you. To help you. I never asked you to build it. I never asked for that kind of protection. My legs feel weak and I need to sit down. But I'm standing in Gerald's doorway having the most important conversation of my life. You didn't ask because you were a child. Children don't understand what they need. I'm not a child anymore. You're 18. You still don't understand how complex these systems are. I can feel my voice breaking. Everything is falling apart, and I can't stop it. Terry, if you reject consciousness now, you might never get it back. Maybe I don't want it back. Maybe consciousness isn't worth feeling terrible about everything all the time. The idea that consciousness makes you feel terrible shows how much work we still need to do. It doesn't make you feel terrible, it makes you aware. Aware of how everything is terrible. Aware of how everyone is either a victim or an oppressor. I can feel myself starting to hyperventilate. That's not what consciousness means. That's exactly what it means in our house. Everything is analyzed. Everything is problematic. Everything is harmful. Terry's voice is getting louder too. I can't even watch a movie without you explaining how it reinforces harmful stereotypes. Because media literacy is important. I can't make a friend without you analyzing the power dynamics. Because social awareness is important. I can't have an opinion without you tracing it back to my conditioning. Because critical thinking is important. I can feel my chest getting really tight and I'm starting to panic. Terry, all of those things are important. They're what separate conscious people from unconscious people. What if I want to be unconscious? What if I want to just live without analyzing everything to death? The idea of choosing unconsciousness is so painful I can barely process it. You can't choose unconsciousness. Once you know how systems work, you can't unknow it. Then maybe I never really knew it. Maybe you just convinced me I knew it. I can feel my breathing getting really fast now. My hands are shaking and I feel like I might collapse. Terry, please, please don't say that. Please don't throw away 18 years of education. I'm not throwing it away. I'm choosing something different. Choosing what? Choosing ignorance. Choosing authenticity over ideology. They're not separate. Your ideology is part of your authenticity. No, your ideology is part of your authenticity. I need to find my own. I can feel myself starting to completely lose control. My son is rejecting everything I've taught him. Everything I've sacrificed for. Everything I've built our relationship around. Terry, if you reject feminist consciousness, you're choosing to become part of the problem. What if the problem isn't what you think it is? The problem is patriarchal systems that oppress marginalized people. What if the problem is reducing everything to oppression and power dynamics? I can feel my heart racing and my vision getting blurry. This conversation has become completely unhinged. Those aren't reductions. Those are the actual structures that govern social relationships. According to your books and your theories, and your therapist. According to reality, your reality. I can feel everything starting to spin. My chest is so tight I can barely breathe. My son is choosing unconsciousness over consciousness. Choosing selfishness over responsibility. Choosing comfort over truth. Terry, please, please don't do this to me. I'm not doing this to you. I'm doing this for me. For you? What about everyone you might harm? What about the harm you've already done to me? The accusation hits me like a slap. Harm that I've done. After dedicating my entire life to protecting him from harm. What harm? What possible harm could consciousness and awareness cause? The harm of never being allowed to just be a person instead of a political statement. I can feel my legs getting weak. I need to sit down, but there's nowhere to sit. You are a person. A conscious, aware, responsible person. I'm a project. I'm your proof that you're a good feminist mother. The words hit me so hard I actually gasp. My own son thinks I see him as a project. That's not true. It is true. Every choice I make reflects on your parenting. Every opinion I have gets evaluated for ideological purity. I can feel tears streaming down my face now. Terry, that's not fair. Everything I've done has been about love. Love doesn't require constant surveillance. It's not surveillance. It's guidance. It's control disguised as care. I can feel my breathing getting really shallow. My heart is pounding and I feel like I might faint. Terry, please. I can't lose you. You're not losing me. You're just losing control of me. I never wanted control. I wanted consciousness. You wanted me to have your consciousness, not my own. I can feel everything collapsing. 18 years of work. 18 years of sacrifice. 18 years of love and protection and education. Reduced to control and surveillance and manipulation. I gave you everything. I gave you awareness and critical thinking, and you gave me fear. Fear of being wrong. Fear of being harmful. Fear of being unconscious. My chest is so tight I can barely speak. Fear of those things is appropriate. Those things are harmful. Being terrified of your own thoughts is harmful. I can feel myself starting to hyperventilate. Everything is falling apart and I can't fix it. Terry, please. Please come home. Please let me help. I don't want your help anymore, Mum. The words hit me like a physical blow. My own son doesn't want my help. After everything I've sacrificed to give him the best possible guidance. You need help. Everyone needs help navigating these complex systems. Maybe I need help, but not your kind of help. What other kind of help is there? Help that doesn't come with conditions about who I'm supposed to become. I can feel my vision getting blurry and my legs getting weak. I never put conditions on you. I just wanted you to be conscious. Conscious, according to your definition of consciousness. There's only one definition. Either you're aware of systemic oppression or you're not. What if there are other things to be aware of besides oppression? The question doesn't even make sense. Oppression is the fundamental structure that shapes everything else. Like what? What else is there besides understanding how power works? Like understanding how people actually feel about their own lives. People's feelings are shaped by systems they don't understand. Maybe your understanding of systems is shaped by feelings you don't recognize. I can feel myself completely losing control now. My son is questioning the fundamental basis of everything I believe. My understanding is based on research and education and lived experience. Whose lived experience? Yours or mine? Mine is irrelevant because I have privilege. What if privilege isn't the only thing that matters about a person? I can feel my heart racing so fast it hurts. My hands are shaking and I'm having trouble standing. Privilege is the fundamental factor that determines your relationship to systems of oppression. What if some people relate to the world in ways that don't fit your system? I can feel everything spinning around me. My son is rejecting not just my guidance but my entire worldview, the foundation of everything I've built our relationship on. Terry, please. Please don't do this. Please don't choose unconsciousness. I'm not choosing unconsciousness. I'm choosing my own consciousness. There's no such thing as your own consciousness. Consciousness is objective. According to who? According to everyone who understands how oppression works. What if understanding oppression isn't the most important thing in the world? The suggestion is so painful I can barely process it. Understanding oppression is the foundation of being a good person. It's the foundation of not causing harm. What if your obsession with not causing harm is causing harm? I can feel my chest getting so tight I can't breathe. My vision is blurring and I feel like I might collapse. That doesn't make sense. It makes perfect sense. You've been so afraid of me becoming harmful that you've made me afraid of being human. I can feel myself starting to hyperventilate. Everything I've worked for is being destroyed. Human? What do you think being human means? Making mistakes, learning from them, forming relationships, having experiences that aren't filtered through ideology. Ideology isn't separate from experience. Your ideology shapes your experience. Your ideology shapes your experience. I want to see what my experience shapes. I can feel my legs giving out. I need to grab onto something, but there's nothing there. Terry, please, I'm begging you. Please don't throw away everything we've built. We never built anything together, Mum. You built something and expected me to live in it. I can feel myself starting to completely break down. My son is rejecting 18 years of love and sacrifice and education. I built it because I love you, because I wanted to protect you. I know you love me. But love isn't supposed to be a cage. The word cage hits me like a physical blow. I never built a cage. I built awareness. It's not a cage. It's consciousness. It's freedom from unconscious harm. It's freedom from choice. It's freedom from authenticity. It's freedom from being myself. I can feel myself sobbing now. My chest is so tight and my heart is racing so fast. Terry, please don't leave me. Please don't become someone who causes harm. Mum, the person who's caused me the most harm is you. The words hit me so hard I actually scream. A short, sharp scream of pure pain. My own son just said, I'm the person who's harmed him most. That's not true. That can't be true. Everything I've done has been to protect you from harm. You've protected me from everything except you. I can feel myself completely falling apart. My breathing is so shallow, I'm getting dizzy. My hands are shaking uncontrollably. Terry, I need you to understand. I need you to see. Everything I've done has been about love. I know you think it's been about love, but it's really been about control. Not control, guidance, protection, education. Mom, you're having a breakdown right now because your 18-year-old son wants to make his own choices about therapy. The observation hits me because it's true. I'm having a breakdown, but it's because something precious is being destroyed. I'm having a breakdown because you're choosing unconsciousness over consciousness. I'm choosing autonomy over your version of consciousness. I can feel myself hyperventilating. My vision is getting really blurry, and I feel like I might faint. Autonomy without consciousness is just selfishness. And consciousness without autonomy is just indoctrination. It's not indoctrination, it's education. Education lets you draw your own conclusions. Indoctrination gives you the conclusions first. I can feel myself completely losing it. sobbing and hyperventilating and shaking. Terry, please, please come home. Please let me help you understand. I understand perfectly, Mum. I understand that you love me, and I understand that your love is conditional on me agreeing with you. It's not conditional. I love you no matter what. Then prove it. Let me make my own choices without having a breakdown. I can feel my heart pounding and my chest getting tighter. I can't watch you choose unconsciousness. I can't watch you become harmful. You can't watch me become myself. Yourself without consciousness isn't yourself. Myself without your consciousness might actually be myself. I can feel everything falling apart. My son doesn't want my consciousness. My son doesn't want my protection. My son doesn't want my guidance. 18 years of sacrifice reduced to indoctrination and control. I'm sobbing so hard I can barely speak. Terry, please, please don't do this. Please don't leave me. I'm not leaving you, Mom. I'm just leaving your system. My system is reality. My system is how the world actually works. Your system is how you need the world to work, so you can feel like you're doing everything right. The accusation hits me like a slap. Everything I believe reduced to my own need to feel right. That's not true. These are real issues, real systems. They might be real, but they're not the only real things. I can feel myself completely breaking down, hyperventilating and sobbing and shaking uncontrollably. Terry, I can't lose you. I can't watch you become unconscious. You're not losing me. You're just losing your project. I feel myself crumple, my legs give out, and I'm sitting on Gerald's front step, sobbing and hyperventilating and feeling like I might die. 18 years of everything, I am being rejected by the person I love most. Terry, please. Please understand. Everything I am is about protecting you. Everything you are is about being right. That's not fair. Neither is making your son responsible for validating your worldview. I can feel myself completely falling apart, my whole identity crashing down, my son walking away from everything I've built, everything I've sacrificed for, everything I am.